Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the GeForce GTX 1650 Super in Cyberpunk 2077. This one is the Asus Phoenix OC model of the card. I overclocked it a little bit further here, plus 100 MHz on the core clock and plus 150 MHz on the memory clock. I'm running the latest Nvidia drivers optimized for this game, and I'm also running it with a Ryzen 7 3700X and 16 GB of RAM. You should get pretty much the same FPS with something like a Ryzen 3 3100, so you don't need the 3700X, of course. And let's get into the game here. Why is my motorcycle on fire? Anyways, I'm gonna go over the settings right now. We're playing at 1080p resolution. That's the only resolution I'm gonna test in this video using the low settings. I'm also gonna be testing it at medium, high, and ultra settings. So starting off with the low settings preset, this is it. As you can see, everything is basically turned off or set to the lowest. Crowd density is set to high because we've only seen like a 1 FPS drop with the 1660 Ti yesterday, and I've also tested this one with that setting, and it's pretty much the same thing. It runs the same, but there are more people around the streets if you set it to high. So I like that setting to be on high. I'm gonna start counting the FPS right now. Let's steal this car and do pretty much the same thing as we did in the 1660 Ti video. So maybe take a little bit of a different route. I don't know. As you can see, average FPS are right around 60 FPS. I think it's gonna be like that throughout this benchmark run, which is not too bad. It's probably gonna drop a few FPS from 60 on average, but it's completely playable. I don't really like the shadow render distance here. You can see that it just looks really bad in my opinion, and some of the shadows will only start appearing on screen once you get really close to an area. So yeah, I don't like that here on low settings, and that's why I wouldn't choose to play on low settings. But if you're fine, let me just go back there for a little bit just to show you that shadow render distance. As you can see right there, for example, yep, you can definitely tell the shadows just appearing out of nowhere in the ground. Yeah, it doesn't look good in my opinion, and it's kind of distracting. And if you don't own something like a GTX 1050 Ti, I wouldn't really play on low settings. It still looks good, don't get me wrong, but the shadows do bother me a little bit, the render distance of them. But so far, so good. FPS average are actually in the mid-50s now that we are in a more populated area, I guess. But it's still completely playable. Game doesn't really stutter, at least not noticeably. Oh god. Sometimes you can tell that the game is stuttering just a little bit, and only sometimes. Like right now it's not really noticeable. I'm so sorry, I'm just looking at the frame time graph, people. Oh boy, alright, oh no. Right, that's it for low settings. Okay, we're now on the medium settings preset. As you can see, this is it. Same settings over here and same resolution, of course, 1920 by 1080. Let's start counting those FPS. And it seems like we're probably gonna get like around 10 less FPS, which still makes the game playable, at least to me. I think like 40 FPS on average in this game is playable. If you get lower than that, well, things become a little bit too rough, and I don't really recommend it. But yeah, so far so good. Medium settings does look way better, especially those shadows. You can tell that they're rendering in from a further distance than low, so I'm fine with that. And I would probably play on medium settings here with the 1650 Super. I always say this, I would probably play on medium settings, but then I check out high, and high does pretty well, so I choose to play on high. So I don't know, okay, I don't know. Medium does look good, and it doesn't have the shadow render distance problem anymore, and it's still smooth, kind of. You can't really play with 60, so maybe just lock your frames to like 45 or maybe even 30 if you want to go with high settings. I think that should be good, and especially if you are after that console-like experience. Not too sure at how many FPS the new consoles play this game at. Probably 60, right? Like 60 upscaled 4K. Oh god, I can't drive in this game. Okay, we just arrived at the most demanding area in my benchmark run, and this is where things start to stutter a little bit. As you can see, the frame time graph is not flat, it's kind of stuttery there. I can't really say it's stuttering, but it's very weird, guys. I've never seen this issue before in a video game. It's certainly livable with, I guess. You could live with this issue and play the game the entire way through and not have a problem with that, but it just feels sluggish to me, at least. And especially if you are playing in first-person perspective, it might put you off a little bit, maybe. But look at those graphics. Looks absolutely stunning here on medium. Can I go, please? I think they're gonna explode my car again. No! No, 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 no. Okay, okay, so... Oh my gosh. Okay, we're back here. Let me just disable the motion blur, high settings preset, and turn that off. Okay, this is it. As you can see, everything else still the same. And yeah, okay, things are becoming slowly but surely unplayable. Right now it's still playable, especially if it manages to get 30 plus all of the time, not 60. But I guess our 1% lows are probably gonna be a little bit lower, you know. Alright, we're going right now, 30s. It's right in the edge of playability, I will say that. If you have a controller, I guess it's fine, and especially if you lock the FPS to 30, it should be absolutely fine. For some reason, the VRAM utilization is pegged at like 3 gigabytes there, which is kind of weird. We do have 4 gigs of VRAM with the 1650 Super. Oh my god, alright, it's all good, kind of. Alright, it's, yeah, fine. Now, the game does look very good now on high settings. It always looked very good, but there's a considerable difference coming from medium to high. You can tell that pretty much everything is higher quality, shadows, shadow render distance, ambient occlusion, reflections, everything looks better. If I was looking for that visual fidelity kind of experience and I didn't really care too much about the playability of the game, if I was fine with 30 FPS basically and a couple of drops here and there, because it will drop, even if it is only in explosions, it will drop from 30. Yeah, most demanding area right here, 30s, it's okay, you know. It's not the best experience ever, but considering that this is Cyberpunk, I guess the 1650 Super is not doing a bad job, or is not doing a horrible job at least. It's kind of playable, so I'll give it that. Okay, I think this is it for the high settings. Okay, I'm not dead yet. You know what, guys? Just a little bit of a fight here at the end of high settings, so we can see if it drops or not from 30. I don't even know where my health is. Probably dying. Oh, come on, what are you doing there? Are you gonna fight me? No. Okay. No bullets anymore. Yeah, I'm screwed. Oh, these are robots? Okay, alright, that's interesting. Okay, I got him. It's kind of rough, but it's still doable at 30 FPS. It's a single player title, so just make sure you play at the easiest difficulty. We're finally at the ultra settings preset. As you can see, I'm just gonna disable the motion blur, and this is it. Video settings, again, same thing, and same thing over here as well. And well, guys, it's probably gonna drop in just a little bit. I don't think it dropped on high, but yeah, you saw there 29 already. Not very good, but at the same time, this is ultra settings. It's kind of expected for a 1650 Super not to run Cyberpunk at ultra settings properly, although it's still managing 30 FPS on average there, which is crazy for a GPU like this one. VRAM utilization, again, is not going up to 4 gigabytes for some reason. I don't know, maybe Nvidia pulled a 970 on this one. I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah, this, 25, 26. Oh man, it is bad now. As soon as it drops from 30, it's a complete mess. It's not really that playable anymore. And in the middle of a fight, for example, and the FPS drop from 30, even worse. So I definitely recommend high settings if you really are into that higher visual fidelity experience. Ultra settings look gorgeous, of course, but I don't think it's worth the performance drop coming from high. So that's been it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll post a lot of more Cyberpunk videos. Oh, wow, what the... Oh my gosh, the bugs are so real in this game, by the way. I'll see you in the next one. Love you all. Bye-bye.